To understand the situation, we are joined from Tehran by geoeconomics and international affairs analyst Dr. Ahmed Salehi. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Dr. Salehi, Tehran has flatly denied Trump's claim of a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. From your understanding, what is Iran's actual position? A hard red line, or is there room for negotiation?
Actually, the view of Tehran towards all of these conflicts is existential threats. We know that there has been attack to the negotiating table 2 times. Of course, the positive side for Tehran was that the boundaries and limitations of the military capabilities of the American forces were exposed to Tehran, but attacking to the negotiating table for 3 times, is not something that you can neglect. So the view of Tehran is without doubt an existential threat towards all of this. And there's a cycle of war, negotiation, peace, and attack. And the position of Tehran is that this is only a technique for the final invasion to the country. So it is not like that Tehran is going to let the American forces to rebuild their military presence or to refuel the strategic reserves and attack again. No, this is done. And there's a gigantic pressure from the public to the negotiators that Americans are deceiving you with these cycles of war, negotiations, peace, and war again. So this is the view of Tehran, and Tehran is planning its steps, its programs according to this view. But from the other perspective, in the other side of the desk, from the American perspective, Tehran believes that the time is against the interests of the United States. First, because of the global energy market and the level of SPR, which is at the moment at the low record of 307 million barrels from 1982. And it has been decreasing with the number of 6 million, 7 million barrels per week, which is unprecedented after the Ukraine war. The next item is an expectation for increase in the interest rate in the United States, which will put a burden of $300 billion on the federal government for each 1% increase in the interest rate. And we have experienced an increase in the interest rate in Japan and ECB. So now an expectation by the Fed is imminent for increase in interest rate. The third item is the midterm election in November, which is putting a lot of pressure on the Republican nominees in the election. So Tehran is assessing and evaluating all of these factors, taking into account also this matter that during the third round of war, during the last 3 weeks, Tehran was applying some precision attacks. The preciseness of the attacks by Tehran was incredibly different from the 2 previous rounds of war. So this data is one of the most valuable assets of Tehran. We don't know whether it's coming from Beijing or from Moscow or from some cells inside those countries which are hosting the American bases. We don't know that. But the definite item is that there has been an unprecedented precision in Tehran's attack during the third round of war. And last but not least, the American forces are fighting against geography. You see, for reopening the Strait of Hormuz, they have to search and clear an area of about 500 miles by 500 miles, which you can put 11,000 Manhattan inside this vast area. And not just taking into account that Iran can fire missiles. This is only for drones. Iran can fire missiles with from any place inside Iran's territory. And with one single drone or missile, you can close the strait. But for reopening it, firing 20, 30, 40 missiles is not helpful. And this importance for the Strait of Hormuz has not been something subtle and undiscovered for the Iranians. It's very interesting to know that the name of the port adjacent to the Strait of Hormuz is Bandar Abbas, means Port of Abbas. Who is Abbas? Shah Abbas or King Abbas, he was 350 years ago a king of Iran who liberated this port, which the name at that time was Port of Gamrun. It has another name. But after liberating this port from the Portuguese occupiers, the colonial power at that time, the name of the city has been changed to Bandar Abbas, and even after 1979 revolution in Iran, which all of those names which were named after the Shah and kings were changed, the name of this city didn't change. So it shows that the Iranian people were well aware of the importance of this Strait of Hormuz. Uh, they have not been using this tool before the war, but fortunately or unfortunately, Donald Trump opened this Pandora box, and this is not something that, as I said, with this perspective of Iranians as an existential threat, this is not something that they are going to give up. They are not going to put this tool aside, and Tehran is not going to build a victory bridge for administration in Washington.